The world watches with bated breath. Tensions are rising. A multitude of crises threaten to erupt, potentially plunging us into a global conflict unlike any we have ever seen. From the battlefields of Ukraine to the volatile Middle East and the contested waters of the South China Sea, the specter of war looms large. Economic instability adds fuel to the fire. Global powers, grappling with their own internal struggles, are locked in a dangerous dance of military buildups and aggressive rhetoric. The post-World War II order, painstakingly constructed to prevent such a catastrophe, appears increasingly fragile. Nationalism, with its seductive but dangerous allure, is on the rise. It feeds on fear, resentment, and a yearning for a bygone era. This toxic brew, if left unchecked, could easily boil over, shattering the hard-won peace we often take for granted. The stakes could not be higher. The consequences of a global war in the 21st century are almost too terrifying to contemplate. We must ask ourselves, are we, as a global community, doing enough to prevent this nightmare scenario from becoming a reality? In Eastern Europe, the war in Ukraine rages on. Russia's invasion has shattered the illusion of peace in Europe. Global powers pour weapons into the region, making it a proxy war. The risk of a wider conflict is terrifyingly real. The Middle East remains a tinderbox. Long-standing conflicts simmer, threatening escalation. In the South China Sea, tensions are brewing. China asserts dominance, challenging the established order. The US responds with patrols, raising the risk of confrontation. These flashpoints threaten global peace and security. At the heart of this global power struggle lie the United States and China. The two superpowers, with their vastly different political systems, ideologies, and economic models, are locked in an increasingly tense rivalry. This rivalry, if not carefully managed, could easily spiral out of control. The United States, long accustomed to being the world's sole superpower, is grappling with China's rise. China's economic expansion, military modernization, and growing diplomatic clout are seen as a direct challenge to American hegemony. The Trump administration's trade war and confrontational rhetoric have only exacerbated tensions. China, for its part, feels increasingly assertive on the world stage. It is no longer content to play by the rules of the existing global order, which it sees as being designed to maintain American dominance. China is demanding a greater say in international affairs, commensurate with its growing power. The relationship between the United States and China will define the 21st century. Whether this relationship will be one of cooperation or conflict remains to be seen. The future of global peace and stability may very well depend on the choices these two superpowers make in the years to come. Section 4. The Fragile Fabric of Peace. The institutions that have underpinned global peace since World War II are under immense strain. The United Nations is often paralyzed by divisions among its member states. The rules-based international order is being openly challenged. Economic interdependence is now being used as a weapon. Global supply chains have become sources of vulnerability. Sanctions are now routinely used to punish and coerce. The rise of nationalism and populism is contributing to this trend. Leaders who appeal to narrow instincts undermine international cooperation. They sow division, stoke fear, and erode trust. The world is at a crossroads. The path we choose will have profound consequences. We can no longer afford to take peace for granted. It is a precious and fragile thing, and it must be nurtured and defended. Section 5. Can we avert disaster? The challenges we face are daunting, but not insurmountable. Global cooperation, though tested as never before, is not a relic of the past. It remains our best hope for navigating the turbulent waters ahead. We need to revitalize diplomacy and dialogue. We need to find ways to bridge divides, build trust, and find common ground. We need to remind ourselves that we are all part of one human family, sharing one planet. We need to strengthen the institutions that support global peace and security. The United Nations, for all its flaws, remains an indispensable forum for dialogue and cooperation. We need to reform and revitalize it, not abandon it. Above all, we need to rediscover the spirit of internationalism that emerged from the ashes of World War II. We need to remember the hard-won lessons of history and recognize that our fates are intertwined. The road ahead will be difficult, but we cannot afford to despair. The future of humanity may very well depend on our ability to come together and address these challenges head-on. Are we truly prepared for what might come next?